end up in any of 5 separate haulers. Out of those 5, 2 for sure will have at one time probably upwards of $1 million worth of pot on the stalk. Easy $1 million in each one. The one to your right last year and for the past several years has been the marijuana capital of this part of the world.
We found marijuana grown in virtually every county in Kentucky. Last year, there was approximately 923,000 plants eradicated. Virtually all the marijuana eradicated in Kentucky is cultivated by a marijuana grower. Probably the climate here and the terrain have a lot to do with why, especially in southeastern Kentucky, why we have a larger concentration here. The climate is humid. The terrain, again, is mountainous. A lot of rural area that's wooded area that is not easily accessible. You're not going to have people driving right by your marijuana plot.
I'd talked to a detective in Covington there, and he identified this area as, he said, let me put it this way. He said, think of your area and the United States as a wagon wheel. He said, you're the hub in the wagon wheel. He said, the dope goes out of that area there all over the country. He said, many of the drug cases all over this country originates right there in your area. You're the crossroads. That's disturbing.
In 1976, from 75 to 1978, I bootlegged. The people in the county knew I bootlegged. They knew who I was. I bootlegged. They knew before they brought him in sheriff, I was an ex-bootlegger. But if I knew about marijuana then, I wanted food alcohol. Damn well, I went to Richmond to get 15 cases of beer to make $30 off of it. I read me 15 marijuana plants and made 10,000. So I didn't know nothing about marijuana then. Because I never was around no dope dealers or no marijuana, nothing.
Well, common sense is going to tell you that you could never sell that kind of dope on the streets of Beattyville, Boonville, Campton, Jackson, every little county around here, and throw in Lexington to boot, or every little city around here and throw in that. You're talking about multi-million dollars worth of dope. You're talking about a major operation. These little people are not selling that on the streets in this area. There's some major bucks behind it. There's some big people behind it.
But I love the people in Lee County. I just think there ain't no better place in Kentucky live in Lee County, Kentucky. In them mountain counties, they're good people in mountain county. They just ain't got no jobs. They ain't got no education, and they'll say if they believe in making a living, making a living, and they don't believe growing marijuana is too bad a living. They don't. That's the only thing they got to do.
If you're a commercial grower, you're not going to put all your eggs in one basket. You're going to spread your patches out, but you're going to have more than 3 in a patch. You're going to have maybe 300, but you stand a much larger chance of those getting ripped off. So you have to plant more patches, and the hills around here usually are filled with such little patches. And you put out 10 patches of 100 each, in hopes of perhaps getting 3 or 4 of them in the fall. And the rest going to John Law and your neighbors.
Back in the 20s and 30s, you had a big push by the federal government to come in here and clean out moonshiners. And the people here took the same attitude back then with respect to the moonshining industry as they take now with the marijuana industry. They think, we're here, we're isolated, it's our land, we don't want to bother you, we don't want you bothering us, so why don't you go away and leave us alone? Ironically, hemp was grown in Kentucky. It was a major cash crop in Kentucky for a number of years, and still grows wild here in some places.
In 1942, patriotic farmers, at the government's request, planted 36,000 acres of seed hemp, an increase of several thousand %. The goal for 1943 is 50,000 acres of seed hemp. In Kentucky, much of the seed hemp acreage is on river bottom land such as this, along the Kentucky River Gorge. Some of these fields are inaccessible except by boat. Thus, plans are afoot for a great expansion of the hemp industry as a part of the war program. This film is designed to tell farmers how to handle this ancient crop, now little known outside Kentucky and Wisconsin. This is hemp seed. Be careful how you use it. For to grow hemp legally, you must have a federal registration and tax stamp. This is provided for in your contract. Ask your AAA committeeman or your county agent about it. Don't forget.
Unfortunately, eastern Kentucky grows good dope. You know, the soil and the climate and everything is just ideal for the raising of marijuana. And the fact that there is not a lot of work here, that's helped perpetuate the problem.
This is a poor community, you know, it just raised tobacco. The hospital and school is the biggest place, you know, where people's employed, and the people just raise it, I guess, grow it in lieu of working, you know, make them good cash crop.
There's a lot of people in Owsley County and Lee County that just have enough money to get by, period. And from that standpoint, if that's what poverty, if you want to look at that as being the measuring stick, I'd say that you have a lot of poverty in Owsley County and Lee County.
I know a lot of people that I've heard tell the rumors that they grew it's doing pretty well these days and time, you know, like they bought up farms and built new brick homes and stuff like this, you know. But I won't mention any names, but you know, it might not be true, or it might be true, it might not be true. I don't know.
Tolerance, I look at as maybe not looking for the problem or realizing it's there and not doing anything about it. I think it goes from tolerance to being acceptance of marijuana as being a part of the economy and part of the way of life here.
I was a deputy, chief deputy 4 years, a deputy 4 years. Then I was the city police for a year. Then I run for sheriff and got it. First time I run, I think I got, for sheriff after I was deputy, I run and got 1,800 something votes. I beat everybody in the county. And there was marijuana in that county, and I cut marijuana. When I found marijuana, somebody called you, said, Johnny, I went and cut it down. I guess I cut more marijuana down than anybody in that county. But I did not go in people's houses, go in people's back of barns, on people's land, looking, had no business. People find it, I'd go cut it. That's a sheriff's job.
Johnny had led a life of violence when he was only a teenager, 12, 13 years old. His daddy died in his arms up there in Wolfe County. He was shot outside a bootlegging joint up there. So Johnny had been in and out of a lot of things, and I guess I was one of the first people he talked to when he decided to run for sheriff. He'd worked as a sheriff's deputy over in this county under a previous administration. He came by and he said, Bobby, he said, I'm thinking about running for sheriff. What do you think? I said, hell, you've run from him all your life. I said, you might well run for it, you know. And the first term around, People say they couldn't have asked for a better sheriff. A lot of people thought an awful lot of Johnny Mann's. When they called, he came, and they wasn't too bad for him to take out. Johnny Mann was 6'8", was an awfully big man, and in instances where there was trouble going on, Johnny was a good sheriff.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 right here. So we'll know this won't be reset tomorrow.
They had about 15 there last year.
You can just think, in a county like that right there, you know, people grow marijuana. I ain't gonna say no percentage, but there's a lot of people grow marijuana. And, but, you know, I know they told me people growing marijuana, you know, several of them, not one, not two, hundreds of them. But till somebody found the patch, it wasn't my job to go, like I told you a while ago, tear down their fences and looking for it, just looking for it.
Spread out all over there. So you found it?
We can't see one.
We'll go out through this cornfield here. We're supposed to have some marijuana out through here, but until the helicopter gets back up, we just got
quite a bit over here.
Find it.
Got quite a bit down here.
Well, we found some, so let's go see. Everybody that cuts one counts the amount that they cut so we can keep up with the numbers. I haven't been here very long this year, but last year I've cut over 100 out of one patch last year.
I'm bending the plant over, getting it to grow horizontally rather than vertically as camouflage. At least it feels like it's not as visible when it's down like this. I don't know how they feel about it. I'd say they're probably on to the trick by now too. You bend it over very gently. Careful little limb on the bottom. Yeah, it's bent the stem right here. It'll take a little energy away from the more vital functions, but it shouldn't really hurt the plant that much. And now each one of the branches is going to grow up like a little plant in and of itself.
Kenny ain't got no more than bootleg. He ain't got no problem. And if he ain't got nothing besides marijuana, that's how it got in marijuana. Just like Owsley County just got marijuana in it. He ain't got no problem. You know why? He's got money in there. So that marijuana is money. That's them people's lives. Just like a paycheck. But there's more going on in marijuana than bootlegging. When you get more going on, that's where you're going to get your problems. That's where your problem's at.
Johnny and the state police had clashed. Apparently, they felt like that he was probably protecting some of the marijuana growers.
People knew where I stood on marijuana. The second time I run for sheriff, they were 7, 8 of us run. And I beat them all landslide. And in the fall election, there was 3,200 something people voted, and I got 2,300 something votes of them. And they knew where I stand on the alcohol, and they knew where I stand on marijuana.
These plants were located behind approximately 75 meters behind this restaurant, or this garage and residence here. We're not sure about what the status of this case is going to be at this time. We're still gathering information. We're not sure what the status will be. But they were in close proximity to the business place and these two residents on each side of it. This is a different strain of plant. This is a much shorter, bigger circumference, and than you ordinarily see.
The amount of plots, patches or gardens, if you will, are increasing. The plants per plot is decreasing. 4 or 5 years ago, we were averaging about 300 plants per plot. Now we're averaging about 50 plants per plot. So they're trying to get them smaller, you know, be less obvious with them.
These people have cross-bred these plants and made hybrids so they can get them with the most bud in the smallest amount of area, so we can't spot it from there.
They like to say that their livelihood depends on it, but it's still illegal to do it. And it's like robbing banks. You can't live off of robbing banks. It's just illegal to do it. It's not the thing to do to live. I don't know what the answer is. I wish everybody could have a job, you know.
See this right here, this top, that right there is quality marijuana.
Mm-hmm. If you have a real beauty of a plant, a real nice plant, you might possibly get a pound out of that plant. And depending on the time of year, that's worth, and the quality of the product too, it's worth anywhere probably from $1,000 to $3,000 just around here. And it's common enough around here, there's enough grown till we have relatively low prices.
We have worked very hard here trying to promote the good things in this area. We do stories, feature stories on artists, musicians. We tell people how talented the people are here, how hard-working they are. And something like this comes along, why it destroys a lot of credibility that you've worked on for years.
The 6 arrested are Owsley County Sheriff Billy McIntosh, Wolfe County Sheriff Lester Drake, and with the cane is Wolfe County's Deputy Sheriff Wilson Stone, Breathitt County Sheriff Dean Spencer, Beattyville's Chief of Police, and the man accused of being the ringleader of the alleged extortion, Lee County Sheriff Johnny Mann.
And I seen the big white Cadillac sitting in the yard, and I kind of got nervous too, you know, at the same time, seeing that big Cadillac. And knowing I was gonna meet mafia men. And James, first this big guy come out, that's Ron Poole. He introduced us to Ron Baker, but to come to find out later, it's Ron Poole, the FBI. Then James come out, and he introduced me to Ron. About 2 or 3 minutes, and after he introduced me, Dave Keller come out. At the time, Dave Keller was going by Dave Kennedy at the time, but now his name is, you know, real name is Dave Keller. So we talked there, you know, while that last finally I agreed to, you know, go in with him. I said, I'll tell you this. And he said, Johnny, it might not be 1 year, it might be 2 years, it might be 3 years. But James always give you that money, so we'll give you $2,000 a month.
The 6 arrested are accused in a big shakedown. They're named in a 42-count federal indictment for extortion. They allegedly accepted money from undercover FBI agents to protect big drug deals. And they're accused of conspiring to distribute marijuana and more than 66 pounds of cocaine. According to the FBI, these arrests are the result of a year-long undercover operation.
There is a tremendous pressure and a tremendous corrupting influences by drugs and the money attached to drugs.
The focus was on people about whom we had information indicating that they were predisposed to engage in this kind of activity.
Along with the possible life sentence in prison, these men could lose some property. According to federal prosecutors, they may seek the forfeiture of some land where the men allegedly agreed to let undercover agents drop some cocaine. Shock may be an overused word, but it's the only word to describe the feeling in Beattyville.
When all this thing broke, it was just a great sense of disappointment and hurt that the community happened. I felt a little like I did the day that they shot John Kennedy. Kennedy wasn't one of my heroes, but the fact that something like that could happen in my country disturbed me very much. And the same way with these sheriffs, you know. I knew them, I knew all of them. The fact that they would betray the public's trust disturbed me. The fact that that kind of thing could happen in our area here hurt. It hurt me as a person, as a citizen, to see these fellows let off in chains. You know, it was just something that does something to you. You know, it was hard to accept.
I told them I took the money. I took it. There ain't no way I denied it. I took the money.
And you saw it as a bribe at the time?
I saw it as a bribe. After I took it, after it got me into it, when I started taking $2,000, I knew it was a bribe. You know, I told them I made a mistake.
I just wanted to get up and walk out of the courtroom and throw up. When I listened to some of the things that were going on, when you heard police officers bragging on tapes to people that they thought were mafia leaders about the houses they had burned and the people's dope patches that they had stolen from.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. This is Special Agent Ronald G. Poole. The current date is 6/21/90. I'm going to have a conversation with Lee County Sheriff Johnny Mann. I appreciate the hell out of what you're doing for us, you know.
Can't get nobody, get no setup no better than you.
You know, don't think we don't appreciate what you're doing. You're doing a hell of a good job. But for you, we wouldn't be anywhere down here.
I don't mind this fucking job. Yeah. Let's get in something, you know. That's all the shit's dirty. Yeah. But I'm stupid. But I ain't gonna get beat this fall. But if I got beat, I left and I'd fucking die. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Next 4 years, it'll be different.
Yeah.
I ain't checked mine in a month. Last time I seen it, probably about that long.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to go to it this time of year. I hear you. Hey, my family, I'm afraid to go to it.
He's the letter.
They hovered that motherfucker with 2 hairs.
Didn't they?
They hovered it with 2 hairs, son.
We'll get you a little money here.
Yes, sir.
That should be 1,000 there. Main thing, you know, just want you watch out for us in the state, and you know. And that's, you know, for you, not bug us too, you know. We just want...
Well, you know, I ain't gonna bug. Don't get fuck what to do.
Yeah.
Man, it's me. I hit him. I die right. We'll have to.
Yeah.
Believe me, if the fucking state police pulling up, they won't get down there, but let's kill me first.
Yeah. Main thing.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, son. Just get me in a tight spot. I'll come out shooting.
Oh, yeah. Well, we just...
Oh, no. If I get in a tight spot, don't think I'm gonna kill somebody.
You don't have to move that mountain. Help me, Lord, to climb it. You don't have to move the stumbling blocks. Just guide me, Lord, around them. We must climb a great high mountain to reach God's gracious kingdom. But in His words we find the strength if we will just believe Him.
An awful lot of people are very disgruntled about the fact that, for example, that they can't go squirrel hunting like they used to because they're afraid that they're going to get shot, walk in the marijuana patch and something happen to them. An awful lot of people would like to see it gone from here.
My theory is this: it does not matter whether I approve of these people growing dope. It does not matter whether I approve of these people using dope. They simply don't give a damn. They're going to use it and they are going to grow it. Whether I approve of it, whether you approve of it, whether the community approves of it, they're not out for your approval, they're in for a profit. And that's why it's going to continue to flourish. There's absolutely too much money in it.
Actually, on a wet day like this, it's not ideal conditions for harvesting. So you've got all that extra moisture trapped in the buds from the rain. It's a real nice bud if it filled out a little more. The moon phase has a lot of effect on the potency. and the moon happens to be in the last quarter right now. Also, the leaves still been that healthy green or kind of faded out and yellow looking. And this plant's just saying, I give up. That's about all I'm going to do. Pick me.
But I think people should, start thinking about the family more. As long as they got a place to live and a piece of bread on the table, forget about the easy dollar. Freedom is everything to you. That's all I had was freedom. I didn't recognize how great freedom was I got in here. I had a wife and perfect 5 kids, and people we live fast outside. But they ain't nothing more important than freedom. And I couldn't be loud no more. It ain't up to me to judge nobody. After I started reading the Bible, you can't read the Bible and be loud too. You can't do it. But I love the people in Lee County. I just think there ain't no better place in Kentucky live in Lee County, Kentucky. And I'm gonna get out of here. Cause God said you asked and you received and believe, and I asked and believed God. It might be a while when he thinks it's ready, but I'm gonna go home.
There's no way they're gonna stop it. People's always gonna come up with some way of keeping them from it, short of an outright military occupation. People just can't put out those big 1,000 plant patches anymore, like the old days. But they'll still get them by. They can't look everywhere.
Sometimes we may falter, but God will grant you strength, my friend, on your knees down at the altar. You don't have to move that mountain. Help me, Lord, to climb it. You don't have to move the stumbling blocks. Just guide me, Lord, around them. You don't have to move that mountain. Help me, Lord, to climb it. You don't have to move the stumbling blocks. Just guide me, Lord, around them.